Black Flag Resynced is coming July 9th, and whether you played the original in 2013 or you've never touched an Assassin's Creed game in your life, there's a decent chance you don't fully know what you're getting here. So let's fix that. 15 things you need to know before you buy. Also, I'll give the final verdict at the end of the video. So let's get into it. Number 1, this is a full remake, not a remaster. This distinction matters more than it sounds. A remaster takes the original game, upscales the graphics, maybe patches a few things, and ships it. A remake builds everything from the ground up. Black Flag Resynced is a remake. Every graphic asset recreated from scratch. Every gameplay system rebuilt. The combat, the stealth, the parkour, the naval combat, all of it redesigned using the latest version of Ubisoft's Anvil engine. The same engine powering the most recent AC games. So when you're asking whether it's worth buying, you're not asking whether you want to play a polished version of a 2013 game. You're asking whether you want to play a 2026 game built around a 2013 story. That's a meaningfully different question. Number 2, the original Black Flag is genuinely one of the best games ever made. If you've never played it, here's the context. Black Flag released in 2013. It's widely considered the best game in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. 15 million copies sold, 34 million players. It follows Edward Kenway, a Welsh privateer turned pirate who accidentally gets caught up in the war between the Assassins and Templars while mostly just trying to get rich and sail the Caribbean. What made it special wasn't just that it was a good AC game, it was that it was a genuinely great pirate game. Boarding ships, naval combat, sea shanties your crew would sing as you sailed between islands, underwater exploration, Blackbeard. It captured a specific fantasy that almost nothing before or since has matched. Resynced is the best possible version of that game, built for 2026 hardware. If you've never played it, this is your entry point. Number 3, the price and editions. Standard edition, $59.99. That's important. Not $70, not $80, $60 for a full remake of one of the most beloved games in the franchise's history. Deluxe edition is $69.99 and includes the Master Assassin character pack, a sword, pistol, and trinket each with unique perks, plus a costume for Edward, and the Master Assassin naval pack with a sail set, ship pet, crew attire, and wheel. Collector's edition is $199.99 and includes a physical Edward Kenway statue alongside the game and both packs. If you're deciding between standard and deluxe, the character and naval packs are cosmetic and convenience items. Nothing game-breaking. Standard edition is the right call for most people. Number 4, the tailing missions are completely fixed. If you played the original Black Flag, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're already nodding. Tailing and eavesdropping missions in the original were notoriously brutal. The absolute instant, you got spotted or moved too far from your target, the mission ended. Desynchronized. Back to the checkpoint. Start again. Ubisoft's creative director Paul Fu addressed this directly. He said, "One thing we really wanted to improve from the original was how you would desync from tailing and eavesdropping missions when you were out of range. This could be super punishing. We've removed this. If you get sidetracked and lose a target while trailing or eavesdropping, you'll still be able to complete the mission." That's the most significant quality of life change in the entire remake. If nothing else they announced convinced you, this one should. Number 5, the parkour situation. Honest answer, the parkour was criticized pretty heavily at the initial reveal showcase. Side-by-side comparisons with the original showed a momentum stutter between jumps. Some of Edward's animations appeared to be borrowed from Naui and AC Shadows, a female shinobi from feudal Japan. The community was not happy. Ubisoft responded quickly. New gameplay clips showed visible improvements, smoother transitions, better-looking jumps, manual jumping working correctly, and side ejects into corner swings making their return. The specific stop-and-go momentum issue that was causing problems, where does it stand now? It's better than it was at reveal. It's not perfect. It's using the RPG-era parkour system as a base, which has inherent limitations compared to the pre-Unity classic style. If you loved the original Black Flag's movement specifically, manage your expectations. If you just want fluid, functional traversal, it looks like it delivers that. Number 6, the combat has been completely rebuilt, and one change will surprise you. Not just polished, completely rebuilt. The new system is built around parries, takedowns, and adaptive enemy AI. Enemies react to repetitive behavior. Keep spamming the same kick, and they'll start dodging it. Wait too long for parry opportunities, and they'll start using unstoppable attacks that can't be blocked. The game is actively watching what you're doing and closing off the options you're abusing. New enemy archetypes, the Brute, the Captain, the Demolitionist, each require completely different approaches. Chain takedowns won't work on enemies with active defense. You'll need to break their guard with your flintlock first. Here's the change most people don't know about yet. Edward can no longer fight unarmed or use his hidden blades as a primary weapon. His swords are now the primary close-quarters tool. You can still perform a hidden blade takedown mid-combat after breaking an enemy's defense, but the days of running around punching guards are over. Number 7. There's genuinely new content, and some of it is surprising. 3 brand new officers can be recruited for the Jackdaw. Lucy Baldwin, the Padre, and Deadman, each with their own full narrative questline and unique naval ability. Deadman, for example, unlocks a double shot for the Jackdaw's broadside cannons once recruited. Darby McDevitt, the writer of the original Black Flag, returned to write new scenes. A new scene between Edward and his wife Caroline that fleshes out his backstory before the main events of the game. Expanded Blackbeard content, expanded Stay to Bonnet content. 10 new sea shanties have been recorded alongside the original ones. The original shanties are widely considered one of the best collectibles ever put in an open-world game. New ones on top of them is a genuine addition. And I'm just going to say this plainly, you can now have a cat or a monkey as a companion on the Jackdaw's bridge. It's cosmetic. It does nothing for gameplay. It is also absolutely going to be the first thing I do when I boot the game up. Number 8. Who this is for? Returning players. You played Black Flag in 2013. Maybe you played it again in 2014. You know the story. You remember Edward's arc. You still hum Drunken Sailor occasionally in the shower. Is Resynced worth $60 for you specifically? Honest answer. It depends on how you feel about the story. The main campaign is the same story, same missions, same structure. What's new is the combat feel, the stealth improvements, the visual overhaul, the new officer questlines, the new narrative scenes, and the 6 additional hours of content. If the original Black Flag means a lot to you and you want to experience it rebuilt for 2026, yes, day 1. If you've played it 3 times and know every island by heart, honestly consider Ubisoft Plus at $18 a month. Play through it in a month. Cancel, saves you $40. Number 9, who this is for? New players. Simple answer. This is one of the best games ever made, and this is the best possible version of it. Edward Kenway's story is completely self-contained. You don't need to have played AC1 through AC3. You don't need any prior knowledge of the Assassin-Templar conflict. You can walk in completely fresh, and the game will make sense. The Assassin's Creed franchise has been around for nearly 2 decades and has gone in a lot of different directions. Black Flag sits in a moment before the RPG era, where the design was focused on character, world, and a specific fantasy, piracy, executed at the highest possible level. If you've been curious about AC and never known where to start, July 9th is your answer. Number 10, the visual upgrade is significant. Ray-traced global illumination, micropolygon rendering, dynamic weather system built from scratch, no loading screens, the entire world is seamless. Character models rebuilt from the ground up. Water physics using Rockstar's patented sparse fluid simulation. Actually, wait, wrong game. Ubisoft's own water technology. The Caribbean looks like the Caribbean. The PS5 Pro specifically gets additional performance and detail benefits. Game director Richard Knight said one of the biggest benefits of the new engine is that, unlike the old days where you had to choose one graphical feature at the expense of another, the current hardware lets you do all of them simultaneously. Ray tracing, global illumination, dynamic weather, seamless world, all running at the same time. The jump from 2013 to 2026 visuals is not subtle. This is the kind of remake where watching side-by-side comparisons makes you slightly embarrassed by what you thought looked good 13 years ago. Number 11. The naval combat. The thing you actually came for. Black Flag's naval combat was the thing that made the game what it was, the thing people still talk about. So what changed? New wave physics that directly affect the Jackdaw's maneuverability. The ocean is no longer just decoration, it's a tactical variable. New alternate fire modes, shrapnel barrels that damage enemy sails specifically, new 8-pound cannons that open up more weak points in enemy hulls, enemy ships and factions with different equipment depending on their alliances, new legendary ships, ship alliances, and Kenway's fleet, the metagame where you send captured ships on trading routes to generate passive income, is back and reworked. Now available through the captain's cabin rather than requiring a separate menu. The core of what made Black Flag's naval combat great is still there. Everything around it has been expanded. Number 12. It is not an RPG, and Ubisoft really wants you to know that. A Sea Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. 3 games in a row that turned the franchise into a sprawling RPG with level systems, gear scores, dialogue choices, and enemies with health bars floating above their heads. Resynced is none of that. No level system, no gear score, no dialogue choices that affect the story, no RPG mechanics of any kind. This is classic action-adventure AC, the kind from before 2017. Character-driven, linear-ish story, combat that's about skill rather than stats. Ubisoft said this explicitly and repeatedly. It is not an RPG. If you fell off the franchise during the RPG era and never came back, this is specifically the version designed for you to return. Number 13. How long is it? Game director Richard Knight confirmed this directly in an interview. The game takes between 15 and 40 hours depending on your playstyle. Rush the main story, around 15 hours. Take your time with side content, naval exploration, and the new officer quest lines. Closer to 40. On top of the base game, 6 hours of entirely new content has been added. New quests, new officer quest lines, new narrative scenes. Content that didn't exist in 2013. So the honest answer, if you play it the way most people play open-world games, somewhere in the middle, doing main missions and stopping when something interesting appears, you're probably looking at 25 to 30 hours. Completionists will spend significantly longer. For $59.99, that's a reasonable amount of game. Number 14, Ubisoft's situation, honest context. This is a company that has had one of the worst few years of any major publisher in recent memory. Stock dropped 34% in a single day. X-Defiant shut down after a year. Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. €1 billion operating loss, 6 games canceled. Why does this matter for your purchasing decision? Because it affects post-launch support. A struggling Ubisoft is a Ubisoft that needs Resynced to succeed commercially. That's actually good news for buyers. If the game ships with issues, the pressure to patch them is higher than usual. And if it succeeds, the likelihood of post-launch content beyond what's already announced increases. It's also worth knowing that Ubisoft Singapore led development, the same studio that made Skull and Bones. Many of the original Black Flag developers returned for Resynced specifically. Whether that combination produces something great or something merely competent is a July 9th question. Number 15, the verdict, buy, wait, or skip. 3 audiences, 3 answers. Buy day 1 if you love the original and want to experience it rebuilt properly, or you've never played Black Flag and want the best entry point into the franchise's golden era. Wait for a sale if you played it multiple times already and the new content doesn't justify $60 right now, or you want to wait for post-launch patches and early reviews before committing. Skip it if you've never liked the classic AC formula, the pirate setting doesn't appeal to you, or you were specifically attached to Freedom Cry or the multiplayer that's no longer in the game. That's it.